Respected Chairman, friends, I represent the emergency medical services system, which is evolving and more challenging in terms of the quality standards and patient safety. The organization which I represent, GBK Emergency Management Research Institute, being a pioneer in this area, today I would like to share some of our experiences, because this entire principle of emergency medical services, which is based on the golden hour, the basic premise is do no harm. Do not add insult to the injury. If this is where we have started, and then today there are about 22 states, about 40,000 patients are being shifted. And this particular discussion of quality standards and patient safety are very pertinent. And then I'm sure that this experience will also add to the overall development of the healthcare delivery system in the country. So my talk would have three brief components about the organization, the experiences in terms of standards, patient safety and quality, and then what I personally feel that should be the way forward in the country in terms of emergency medical services. Thank you to the organizers for giving this opportunity. This organization, GBK EMRI, was established in 2005 with a vision of responding to about 30 million emergencies and being in the business of saving about 1 million lives annually. And for that, these factors of safety are very important, quality is very important, standards of care are very, very important. The organization thought that we need to be proactive by creating leadership, leverage technology, do not be complacent about yesterday's glory, but ensure that there is a significant innovation and refinements on a continuous basis and capacity building, research so that the efficiencies and effectiveness can also be enhanced. So these were the four tires or the wheels with which this organization has attempted in the pre-hospital care by an ambulance-based emergency response services. We have established a very stringent process where any person in distress uses a unified 3-digit number, 108. The first component of the entire process is locating the emergency, what is called sense. Technology has to be leveraged, and in every place we have established a state-of-art emergency response center, only with a focus that we can quickly identify the distress location. The center who would be able to guide the paramedics or the emergency medical technicians in all critical situations. This is a very stringent process which we have been following wherever we are. We have also realized that medical emergencies should also have, in addition to that, the police and fire emergencies, so that there will be an integration of any types of distress, as in the most of the developed EMS systems. People in distress, it is said that in emergencies, people IQ will come down to 50%. So it is attempted that if there is a mechanism with the support of the governments, what is referred as a public-private partnership, the services should be made free of cost to the beneficiaries. This is how the organization has evolved, initially modeled with about 50 ambulances in the state of Andhra Pradesh. Now more and more governments have come and then made the partnerships. The technology is being provided by Mahindra Satyam, who is our technology partner. Very high-end, reliable Nortel will take care of the person who is free to take the call, and a unique ID will come so that the safety is ensured and the rest of the processes. The voice logging can also be transferred to a place where a dispatch decision of an ambulance can also be taken. For a beneficiary, we thought that for it should be as simple as dialing this number 108, an ambulance will come and take him to an appropriate nearest hospital. So this is how the technology enabled us, and what we have also realized that still the emergency departments, the public healthcare delivery system, the referral mechanisms raised to an acceptable level. The presence of a doctor will also help in standardizing some processes. Public-private partnership is a very, very useful learning for us, for the country as such, where we have understood that the priorities of the governments would be the pregnant women, pediatrics, and poor people, where we need to bring lot of processes, performance measures, and the right kind of people so that it could become a good public-private partnership mechanisms. GBK, who funds the leadership and our collaborations with various, so that we don't have to reinvent a wheel and see to that we can collapse time. What took about 40 years in a developed nation, can we collapse this and see to that in a 10 to 12 year framework, we would be able to make these services ubiquitous and then we bring some global standards into that. So pre-hospital care is one area where we attempted very sincerely over these 7 years. We tried to create this cadre of emergency medical technician in addition to the doctors and other paramedic nurses, this cadre. And we have also realized that skill development, which is important, the skills are acquired at an individual level. We try to develop deeper insights into what kind of skills a basic EMT should have and advanced EMT should have. So this partnership has brought this number of 108, the state-of-art emergency response centers in all the administrative states and union territories where we are working. Enable technology so that GIS, GPS can be recorded. Voice logging should be made available so that we would be able to appreciate where we stand, and then quality audits can also happen. Identify what are the common emergencies in our country and see whether we would be able to create a patient compartment area in the ambulance in terms of patient transport equipment, in terms of ensuring that there's a protocol, and then we would be able to provide these standardized treatment procedures. So this is what the private partner in the form of GBK was able to bring in this partnership. The other area where we were able to leverage various technology, medical technology, fleet technology, information and communication technology, which enabled us so that we would be able to learn things, imitate things, and then see to that the beneficiary, the person in distress, can also be benefited. Particularly with Stanford, we have identified that paramedic education can really happen very quickly of global standards. We also realized that protocols can also be enabled, can be developed on the Indian scenario by looking at the ground level realities, by looking into the information and the interpretation of that information, and then bringing some intelligence into the emergency medical services. So we try to make this organization a learning organization, create some evidences which would help at the policy level, at the operational level, and make some refinements. Identify who are the global leaders and learn from them, and see to that it's a win-win situation for all the partners. So with that journey, we started in 2005. Presently, we are in about 12 states and then 2 union territories, catering to about 40% of the beneficiaries in this country. 1/3 of the beneficiaries are pregnancy-related because the program, by and large, is funded by the respective state governments and the NRHM. Every 5th beneficiary is a trauma patient. There are several other non-communicable diseases also which are coming up in the form of cardiac emergencies and respiratory emergencies also. We may attend about 12,000 emergencies response patients, but 5% of them have got a very critical factor, which we have come out with a working definition, and then we say that we save about 300 lives every day. So far, this organization has attended about 1.7 crore emergencies, and then about 500,000 lives were saved. In urban areas, we were able to respond in about 15 minutes, and rural areas, it is becoming more challenging, about 25 minutes on an average. In tribal areas, it is taking about 30 plus minutes sometimes. Individual emergencies, varied experiences and unique experiences. Man-made disasters, natural disasters, this is all our experiences. Difficult terrains, and create things, reach the last mile by having some palanquins or some sort of a thing so that we would be able to reach as much as possible. The access can also be collapsed. So this is how our organization tried to create safety in terms of emergency medical services. A few words about the quality. Before we launch our services, we have a go live audit. So we wanted to be very sure that everything is in place in terms of equipment, in terms of the protocols, the documents, what need to be done. We have also looked in terms of ISO certification. We looked into global partners like American Heart Association, ITLS, American Academy of Family Physician, Osmania University, so that our capacity building exercises meet some standards. We also try to get some beneficiaries' feedback through SMS and see whether there is a scope, find areas where we can improve those things. personal protection equipment, the body substance isolation, protecting our own workforce, scene safety, ambulance sanitization, creating a public addressing system so that the ambulance doesn't meet an accident in a way we need to rush towards the hospital. Voice logging so that we hear certain things and then we identify where the soft skills can also be added along with the professional skills also. What kind of approaches we need to do in terms of business continuity, those things. So learnings in terms of patient safety were also documented in that. Instead of directly learning from an emergency patient, create a simulation environment where patient safety concerns are addressed. Experiential learning can also happen in skill acquisition. Standards, create protocols, about 55 chief complaint-based approaches, and what we need to do and common things in terms of medical emergencies, trauma emergencies, and environmental emergencies. So we try to document these protocols and then push into the field so that the qualities can also be, deviations can also be measured against these protocols. So my personal views in terms of how the emergency medical services can really be taken forward in this country is, I'm using the acronym eHealth here only to see to that we cover important areas. It's very important that every citizen will have this EMS services. But 47, 48 countries are having this, why not India? And then every citizen has got this right for the EMS services. That forms the first E of my eHealth acronym. Health sector should consider this emergency medical services as a subsystem rather than the standalone system, so that the referral mechanisms, elective referrals, emergency referrals can also be strengthened. We need to leverage technology further so that the electronic pre-hospital care record can become a part of the hospital-based electronic records, hospital records also, so that the care continuum can happen without much gaps in that. There's a scope for automation of many of these sub-processes, the expected time of arrival, the patient details, the 12-lead ECG can also be transmitted, some enzymes can also be done, random blood sugar, these sort of things which can happen between the ambulance. In other words, the emergency response should be there in ambulance, and ambulance should be there in emergency response center or master control center. This sort of automation and then leveraging technology can also happen. It's very important that in the nearest future, we need to recognize these emergency medical technicians, paramedics, by giving them license, and then like nurses and doctors. Telemedicine is one area, and point of care, which was also alluded yesterday. There are scopes that we can also create those sort of platforms in this EMS and then integrate so that we would be able to create a better safety and then right kind of standards of care. Finally, this sort of service requires professionalism, passion, but all the more the human touch is very, very important so that we would be able to help people, many more people. What Professor Prahlad has mentioned that, it should be Gandhian innovation. With less, do more for more. This is where I would like to stop here. Thank you so much for giving me some.